I got a recent request to demonstrate how I make my custom license plates. This one right here is on a Jeep Wrangler, and it's a Massachusetts plate, my home state, and it's a Will 961. Just those are random numbers that I thought up just to put it on a license plate to give this car a little more personalization. This one right here is a Dodge Viper SRT10, also by Maisto, that has the factory plate. This is the one that came with it. So I'm going to put on a custom license plate, demonstrate how I do that. So if anyone wants to do the same, they can. It works really well, and I've really refined the technique, so it's a lot easier. It also can be used to make a lot more custom options, like this right here. These are beach or off-road stickers for Nantucket, Massachusetts. If anyone's been there, there's a lot of Jeep Wranglers. So my brother went out running around taking pictures of these off of cars rather sneakily, and I shrunk them down, and voila, we now have scale 118 beach stickers. So there's a pretty good opportunity to do different things with it. So without further ado, let's get going. The first thing you really need to do is brainstorm just to figure out what license plate you want to put on it. It's kind of up to your preference. You can really do whatever you want, any country, any state, whatever. So, but you also have to measure it to make sure you're getting the right dimensions. So this right here is some sort of rule. I'm not even sure what to call it. It's metal, and it was in a model car kit that was found at the recycle center. So, but it works really well because if I can zoom in enough, if it will focus for me. Please focus. Alright, it doesn't want to focus, but anyway. It starts, oh, there we go. So it starts off right here at the 1 mark. There is no lag, doesn't come out to here. It'll work really well. And we're going to be using the smallest increments because, of course, this is a scale 118 car, and we want to be very, very precise in order for it to look the best, of course. Now, rest that on there. This is about 39/64ths of an inch. 39/64ths, write that down. And height-wise, 16, 17, let's say 18/64ths. Now you can simplify that down, but I don't feel like it. I'm just going to calculate it later. Once you've figured out what license plate you are going to put on the car, you have to go out and find it. And finding it is as simple as going on the internet and doing a Google image search. So I felt like I should put it on Michigan plate since, of course, Dodge Viper should be made in Michigan. So, Michigan. Okay, here we go. So that's going to give you a bunch of them here. A lot to choose from. Some of these are conservation plates like the Mackinac Bridge, Great Lakes Splendor, I'm not really sure. Probably protection of the Great Lakes. Motor City, oh, there we go. Now there's all sorts. I want to go with just the regular one, the regular standard issue, so that right there is a good one. You want to look for one that has a pure white background, not one like this, because as you can see, it's kind of dirty in this area, and it's kind of gray. It makes it more difficult to actually select the right color for the background. Alright, so I'm going to go with this one, the one that I saw. It doesn't necessarily matter the size as long as it's not too small. So you're going to copy that out and go into Paint, which is the standard paint that comes with every Microsoft computer. And zoom into this. Take the select tool and delete that. So now you have a pretty good background to start customizing. So the first thing you want to do is take the eyedropper and collect this color because, of course, that's going to be the color of the letters. So this is on 72, but it doesn't. You're not necessarily restricted to 72. You can go to 71 if you want. You can just type it in. So I'm not feeling too creative today. So SRT 10. Wow, that's big. All right, so 71's a bit oversized. So let's go down to 62. Lower than that. 48. Let's say 52. Oops. 55. There we go, I like that. That's good. And the font you use kind of varies, but I tend to use Arial Narrow mostly, not in bold. And that's kind of the closest you can get, I've noticed. So you want it nicely centered. And there you go. So now you can take this plate copy it out, paste, and this is when we're going to bring in those measurements that I was doing earlier. So we're going to go to size and position, unclick this, unclick this. That's important. We need to convert the decimal, the inch into decimals so it can understand it better. 0.61. You want to go to 2 decimal places. And then, oh, that was the width actually. And then 18/64. That could be simplified, but I don't feel like it. 0.28. Okay, and there we go. Now it's the correct size. So now it's time to just print this thing out. If you have a printer at home, I would suggest putting it on best quality. That way it comes out as good as it can get. And print it out. So now that you've printed this out, it should look pretty good. Just kind of check to make sure it looks about the right size. And it should have a border on the edge so it's easier to cut. So the supplies you'll need is some Scotch tape, packing tape. This is heavy duty packing tape, doesn't necessarily matter. And some good scissors that have a nice sharp edge. So what I like to do first, this isn't necessarily a required step, is take a piece of the packing tape and just cover it. This kind of gives it a more glossy look and it makes it more durable in the case that you're cleaning it won't smudge. So I recommend putting that over. And you just simply cut it out. The more precise you are cutting it out, the better it will look, so it's important to keep that in mind. So if you have a better method than I do to make this more precise, I highly recommend it. I typically spend a lot longer trying to cut these out. But today I'm feeling good, so there we go, we have our license plate. Whoops. So now to put the thing on the car, you need to take some of this tape. I recommend Scotch tape because it just folds a little bit better. Take a nice small piece, you need to roll it very small, kind of like that. Just take off the edge. So now you just have one little roll. And place that there. Now you can use double-sided tape. I've used it before. It's tougher to take off if you ever want to change the license plate, so just keep that in mind. But it does give a pretty good result. This works really just as well. And now Now I could do a better job mounting that, but I'd say that's pretty good. So there we have it, a custom license plate. And that is definitely going to stay on there for a good long time. You can look on the side, it's holding on there. I probably should have cut it a little better. You can see it's kind of overhanging here, but this was just a quick job just for a demonstration. So I hope anyone finds this helpful. If you'd like to try it, I highly recommend you do so. It kind of adds a lot of personalization to the car. Thanks for watching.